Hello and welcome back to the All-American Football Show. Just the two of us tonight, myself, Big Cass, with Joseph, the cousin, the group of five guy, as we call him. AP is out. Our thoughts and prayers go with AP as they lost a family member this week. And then Logan is dealing with the crud. Can't budget, he said. So hopefully we'll get both guys back next week. We change things up. I know last week we talked about we're going to do favorite atmospheres, blah, blah, blah. But I apologize. I miscalculated how many weeks were left, but we need to start breaking down the season. So tonight we are breaking down the group of five teams and the ACC. We're going to run down, Army and Liberty because they're independent. When we do the Pac-12, we're going to do BYU. And when we do the Big Ten, we're going to break down Notre Dame. But tonight we'll briefly talk about Army and Liberty and what they can do. Liberty's, don't have Malik Willis, but we're going to talk about group of five, who the teams that best chances to could get in the playoffs if there is. I don't think there is, not this year anyways. But Joseph, welcome back tonight, man. It's your weekend. It's the group of five, man. It's your day.
It's
In the
awesome.
ACC.
I'm excited. I'm excited for all this. I've done a lot of research, and I'm excited for this. I wish the other two were here, but like you said, thoughts and prayers for both of those as Logan is out, not feeling too hot, and of course, AP prayers for his family as well. But yeah, I'm excited for this week too, as I've said the past 2 weeks. But
well, let's start with the group of five. Last year, for the first time ever, a group of five team got into the college football playoff. That was Cincinnati. They went undefeated. They ran the table. They deserved it. They got in because they beat Notre Dame and Indiana. This year is going to be a tougher task to possibly get a group of five. Let's start with the Mountain West. Boise State and Fresno State come to mind in that conference. Let me talk. I'm going to go off with Logan because Logan sent over his notes. Logan has Fresno State winning the Mountain West at 10-2 this year. He also said that his guys, the players to watch, is Jake Heener, the quarterback for Fresno State. So keep an eye on, Fresno State. That's who he had winning the Mountain West. I know Joseph got a little bit bigger of a breakdown, but we got to obviously make it quick. So we want to talk more because we want to talk more in depth about the ACC.
Right. Yeah, I had Boise State at 9-3, 6-2 in the division with their losses to Fresno State, which is week 6. And then I had another loss I was a toss-up between at Wyoming and somewhere like Air Force, Colorado State, but I did put at Wyoming. Fresno State, I had them 10-2, 7-1 in their division. They play Oregon State and at USC. At USC was one of their losses. And then I had another loss, San Diego State. I think they'll be shell-shocked when they come play at Fresno State. But I had Jalen Cropper as a standout for Fresno State, as AP has mentioned to us before. But yeah, Boise State, Fresno State in the Mountain West Championship. As you see, I have this on today. Story behind this is way back to NCAA 14. I ran a dynasty with these guys, went undefeated, and said, COVID, let's buy something. It was like $10, but Broncos. But I got Fresno State winning that.
All right. The Mountain. Let's talk about the MAC real quick. Logan had Northern Illinois winning that, and I'm going to throw out this Conference USA as also. He had Louisiana Tech winning the Conference USA. So Logan had Northern Illinois winning the MAC, and Louisiana Tech winning the Conference USA. How about those two conferences?
I didn't go too deep into the MAC, but I like Kent State. I feel like they always have a good program, and then I went with Toledo Rockets as well. There's another one.
They got
no students do play week 7. So.
Yeah, and Toledo goes to Columbus at night against the Buckeyes. Should be a fun matchup. Who'd you have winning the Conference USA?
I had Western Kentucky versus UTSA. Both teams did very well last year. I think UTSA picks up where they left off last year. They play Houston and at Texas this year. I think they'll be their only 2 losses. But Western Kentucky, I think they're up for the challenge this year. They play at Auburn week 12. I don't think they'll win that game, and then I have them losing to Indiana as well. So,
Logan also had UAB as the Conference USA sleeper team. I'm assuming them meeting Louisiana Tech in the title game. I don't know. I don't know the divisions or anything like that. Sun Belt, I think, is one of the funnest conferences to watch. They are a Wednesday night classic. ESPN. It's Wednesday night. Let's turn on some that and Thursday night. He had Appalachian State winning. Me personally, I think Coastal Carolina wins that conference. But there's so many teams I like. I like Troy. I like them. Arkansas State. Look for them to have a better season than last year. I watched the Appalachian State Arkansas State game. As a Buckeye fan, I'm starting to watch some who's on the schedule, watch their team, and I did watch their game against Appalachian State. They didn't win very many ball games, but Arkansas State's one of them sneaky Sun Belt teams. But I really like Coastal Carolina. Logan said Grayson McCall to watch. Who not to watch? He's probably the best great group of 5 player in the out of the group of 5 teams. The Sun Belt, man, it's a fun conference to watch when it's Wednesday night.
Outside looking in, yeah, it's because you get the Tuesday night, you get the MAC. Wednesday, Thursday, you bring in these CUSA and Sun Belt teams. But I had Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Raging Cajuns. The Raging Cajuns, they lost Levi Lewis. He was pretty good. But from what I've been reading, Chandler Fields and Ben Waldridge, which is a Fresno State transfer, been battling in camp for the top spot at quarterback. And head coach Michael Desermano, sorry if I butchered that, but he said they both have been standing out, and it's going to come down to week 1 when they face Southeastern Louisiana to decide. So I think both players will get to play that game before they play Eastern Michigan.
I'm surprised it's not the SCLSU Mud Dogs.
Pretty close. You're very close. They're a couple letters off. It's SEL. And that's it.
All right, let's go to the American Athletic Conference. We all know Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, SMU, Memphis, a lot of teams in this conference, even Navy every once in a while. I don't know how good Navy's going to be next year, but myself as well as Logan has Houston winning it. I think they have a better record than 9-3. Logan has them going 9-3. I think the 10-2 for Houston. It's going to be interesting because Cincinnati, we know they lost Desmond Ritter. They lost Sauce Gardner. They've lost a lot.
Pierce,
Alec Pierce,
Myjai Sanders, Kobe Bryant, Sauce Gardner, as you said.
Shaquille O'Neal. You said Kobe.
Jerome Ford in the backfield. Yeah. I'm excited. As a Bearcats fan, this might sound a little biased, but I think our only loss this year comes to at Arkansas week 1. We don't play Houston this year, but I think they do play in the AAC championship. I have Houston at 10-2 with losses to Texas Tech week 2 and SMU week 10.
I have Houston losing 2 games as well. I think they beat Texas Tech. I'm going to look. Hold on, I have to look at their schedule again.
They have. I got it right here for you. At UTSA, at Texas Tech, home for Kansas, home for Rice, home for Tulane, at Memphis. Hit the bye week at Navy, home for South Florida, at SMU, Temple, at East Carolina, and then Tulsa to finish the year.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they go 11-1 in the regular season, and they make it to a New Year's Six Bowl. Just looking at their schedule, the strength of their team, I think their only loss. I don't know, man. Their only loss could be at SMU, but SMU will also lose. What helps Houston is they don't, like you said, they don't play Cincinnati, they don't play Central Florida. Yeah, they got SMU. They get Temple in South Florida and Navy
at Memphis.
Yeah. At Memphis and SMU could be tough, but I really like the Houston Cougars. I will say I think they'll go 11-1. I think they'll drop to SMU, but I think eventually they'll find a way to win the conference.
Mind you, Clayton Tune is back this year for Houston. He did stand out very well last year. But yeah, I hate to say it, but Houston Cincinnati in the AAC championship game, I think it'll be very close. I don't want to pull a side yet. I haven't seen much about the Cincinnati team and what they're bringing. But week one, I think we'll definitely take the L. Then we bounce back against Kennesaw State, Miami, Ohio, huge rivalry. Not as big as the Ohio State and Michigan game, but that rivalry is very intense. And then they get Indiana week 4.
With the success of Cincinnati, what they've had, do you think even at 11-1, do you think Houston can get a New Year's Six bowl, or will they not get a New Year's Six bowl, depending on how good the other teams in the Power Five are?
So I know that the AAC, they beat each other up all year, kind of like the Big Ten. But I don't think this is the year the AAC gets into. I mean, New Year's Six, yes. But I don't think it'll be miraculous like last year.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get in the playoff, but can they get enough ranking? Because their schedule is weak compared to Cincinnati's. That's where.
Yeah.
Well,
if
you're comparing Cincinnati's schedule from last year to Houston's this year, it's totally it's a lot weaker. So if Houston doesn't go undefeated, I think they'll get enough votes because of some of these other schools. It just depends what the Power Five does. Like the SEC could get 4 teams in the New Year's Six bowl. I mean, it depends on what Notre Dame does. Like if Notre Dame is the key factor, and BYU too. They're independent. If BYU's got a strong schedule this year, I think this group of 5 teams, even if Houston goes 11-1, will get left out of the New Year's Six just because of how strong the SEC and the Big Ten are, I think will be this year. I think also how strong Notre Dame and BYU are.
Yeah, I like you were saying, I think the highest AAC team will be right outside of the top 10, just enough for a New Year's Six. But yeah, I don't think this is a huge year for the AAC, but I do believe Notre Dame will be finished above the higher seed in the AAC. And BYU, I haven't seen much about BYU, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be pretty consistent.
Yeah, like we said, we'll break down BYU when we talk about the Pac-12 or the Big 12. I have to double down on that and decide. Real quick, Liberty. Let's talk about Liberty. The Malik Willis is gone. We don't know much about their schedule. They got a lot of shoes to fill. They still got a good coach. There could be a team, they're independent. See how strong their schedule is. I think they make a bowl game, but it's like the Ardell. That's like New Orleans Bowl, Ardell Carriers, stuff like that. Army. I mean, Armed Forces Bowl, 9-4 again. That 8-5. My predictions for Army. I'm sure that's the same with you, Joseph.
Playing a team like LA Tech, winner of the
playing like Wake Forest, or not Wake Forest, but like
the runner-up in
Virginia or something like that.
Yeah,
or Virginia.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the ACC. I call it the another crappy conference. The ACC, the Atlantic Coastal Conference. This one's tough, man. It all depends what Clemson does. On paper, Clemson looks like they got a returning defense, but the question remains for Clemson. No Brent Venables. Dabo has none of his coordinators. This is it. Like, what can Dabo do? He had a bad season last year. Can you get better quarterback play by DJ Ungulale, whatever his name is? I'm sorry if I butchered it. I like Clemson and the fact that Dabo is going to have this team ready and play with a chip on his shoulder. I'm looking at Logan's conference championship predictions. He has in the Atlantic Division NC State. I have them also winning the Atlantic Division, I believe, also. And the Coastal, he has Virginia, NC State 11-1, by the way. Coastal Division, he has Virginia Tech at 10-2. I have Clemson. I think it's gonna be NC State versus Clemson. I believe they're in the same, right?
NC State and Clemson are in the same. Yes.
All right. So, wow, that's tough.
That's a huge toss up because
and the
you
thing
have Clemson, NC State, and Wake Forest all in the same division.
Yeah, it depends how you see Clemson. As of right now, I will go Clemson. Logan has NC State. I'm gonna go with Clemson at 11-1 also. I think they lose to Notre Dame in South Bend, but I think for somehow, some way, they find ways to win, and they will win the ACC. Coastal champion. You know what? I'm going to Miami. I'm going Miami.
Nice.
I like Mario Cristobal. I like Tyler Van Dyke. I do have them 10-2, 9-3. I really do. Because not year. Mario Cristobal is a year away from making Miami great again, and I'm going with the Hurricanes. Obviously, I have Clemson winning the ACC, but you know how bad I want NC State to win the ACC. I really do. It needs for a change. I wouldn't even mind seeing Miami winning the championship. By the way, Logan had NC State versus ACC, and he had Virginia Tech winning the ACC. Atlantic team sleepers: Florida State, Wake Forest, and Louisville. Coastal, Miami, and Virginia. And then players to watch: he had Grant Wells, a quarterback from Virginia Tech. Sam Hartman. I really like Sam Hartman. Devin Leary from NC State. Florida State's Micah Pittman, and Louisville running backs Tyon Evans and Jalen Mitchell. ACC could be very strong this year. It could be a division where they beat each other up. Your take, Joseph, for the ACC?
I have Clemson 11-1 with their loss to Wake Forest early in the year. I do have them in overtime losing 37-33, something like that. The Notre Dame game, I have them sneaking by that one. Honestly, I have, 1, 2, 3, and then South Carolina, Clemson. I have that a very close game, actually, at the end of the year. And then I have Miami on the other side at 9-3, 6-2 in their division, with losses to Texas A&M, Florida State, and at Clemson.
I have Miami losing at Clemson, and then I have the same three.
Nice.
I think Florida State upsets them. Florida State, but the problem with Florida State, they're going to beat teams, and then they're going to lose the teams. You're going to be like
that's typical.
I think Florida State goes 7-5, 8-4. But it's an interesting conference this year. It really is, because I think if South Carolina if Clemson beats Notre Dame, they're going to lose to South Carolina. I think South Carolina's going to play with a chip on their shoulder. We'll get more into that when we talk about the SEC, Kings of College Football. But the ACC will they get
say that?
What?
The Kings of College Football.
The SEC is. I mean, I will sit there and say this. I love the Big Ten. I love Big Ten football.
You heard it here first.
Like,
folks,
I'm a homer. I'm a homer when it comes to Big Ten football, and I think it's the best football. But until other conferences consistently win national championships before the SEC, how can you not say the SEC is Kings of College Football? I mean,
I agree.
It is. The athletes down there in the SEC. I mean, it's hard to say. It really is. But do I think they're the deepest conference? That remains to be seen.
I guess that's to come, huh? But yeah, back to the ACC. These are just some players I have to watch. DJ from Clemson. I ain't even going to try the last name. Jordan Travis, Florida State. Malik Cunningham from Louisville. Tyler Van Dyke at Miami. Devin Leary, NC State. Keaton Slovis, Pittsburgh. Brennan Armstrong at Virginia. Grant Wells at Va Tech. And Sam Hartman. Just to name a few. I mean, that's half their quarterback room in the ACC.
Yeah, the ACC is going to be quite interesting. It really is. Like I said, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting closer. We're 31 days from Ohio State football kicking off. I mean that first official Saturday. Week 0 is coming up, just 3 weeks away. Nebraska Northwestern is the big key in that game. We'll break down that week, the week of. It's going to be a lot of fun college football. But I have a bone to pick with ESPN today. I don't know if anybody's seen my Facebook story or my TikTok, where I'm gonna see if people can hear it. I really do. I want to play it so bad because it was terrible, and I'm going to play it. Hopefully, people can hear it, but it was a bad take.
Then come back to the Final Four and do it as the bowl game set up from there, as we're normally and used to traditionally doing it. But why do we need to expand more than that? We haven't seen a close matchup between 1 and 4 yet, besides Notre Dame and Alabama, and I think they won by.
All right, I don't know if anybody heard that, but it was.
I got it pretty good on my
ESPN guy. I can't even think of the name. I was so disgusted. Said that. Why should we expand the playoffs beyond 8? I get it, 8. First team 2 gets by. He's like, because we haven't seen a great number 1 versus 4 matchup because the closest one has been Notre Dame and Alabama. Hello. Ohio State won the national championship as a 4 seed. How can you sit there and say that there hasn't been a good matchup as a 1 versus 4 seed in the playoff era? That was probably the most classic college football game in recent memory. Number 1 Alabama versus number 4 Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. Ohio State winning 42-35 to go on to win the first college football national championship. Who hires these dudes? Do they not do research? Like, come on. Like, what is going on? Like, the best 4 versus 1 matchup was Alabama, Notre Dame, and Notre Dame won by 17 or something. Come on now.
It's awful. I mean, they just former player was kind of good. Bring him on. He knows his stuff, but like you said, they don't research. They don't pay attention to the first college football playoff. Obviously, I guess that's just gone out of everybody's mind. But like you said, Alabama and Ohio State, I mean, they were up 21 or something, or
21-6 or something like that. Yeah.
Something, yeah.
21-6, 21-6. Evan Spencer throws a touchdown pass to Michael Thomas to make it 21-13 going at the half.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was a good game.
Did you stop watching? Did you stop watching the
Nope.
game mid-second quarter?
No.
Of that year? I mean, do you not realize Ohio State won a national championship as a 4 seed? Come on,
right?
man.
I mean, when it's like the Alabama Notre Dame game, what was it? 2 years ago, something like that. It was a blowout. It was like, okay, next. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I do get what he's saying. Like when it talks about the outside of Ohio State Clemson of 2019, Ohio State Alabama 2014. That's it. Oh, Georgia Oklahoma 2017, 2018. Has there been a good semifinal matchup since then?
Well, that's the thing. If you're wanting to expand this playoff or not expand this playoff, then do your research about who gets in and why they get in. Let's not do just, oh, yeah, they won. Let's put them in. Like,
I do get what he's saying. These semifinal matchups, why should they expand? There's only been 3 close games in how many years have we been doing the playoffs now?
This will be year 8.
Yeah. Simple enough. I mean, I meant Ohio State got smacked 31-0 by Clemson. I mean, it's
Michigan State getting smacked by was it Alabama that year?
Yeah, 31-0.
Yeah,
then final next year. I'm gonna look it up actually. It's bugging me. I'm looking it up as we speak right now. Right now, as I'm looking at us, will a national champion come out of the ACC?
The ACC? No.
Okay.
This year? No. No. I'd say give Clemson about 2 more years. 2 years, and then I think they'll be back to where they were. But Dabo find what he needs or who he wants, and then I think they'll be back. All right, here we go. I got it.
All right. Okay, first season of the college football playoff, Ohio State, Oregon beat Florida State 59-20 in the Rose Bowl. This is 2015, folks. Ohio State beat Alabama 42-35. Close game. That's one. Mark these, tally these, Joseph. That's one. That's one tally. 2016, Clemson beat Oklahoma 37-17. It's not close. Alabama beat Michigan State 38-0. Not close. So far, there's been 4 games, only one's close.
One.
2017, Alabama beat Washington 24-7. Ohio State lost to Clemson 31-0. Again, 1 out of 6 so far. 2018, Georgia 54, Oklahoma 48, double overtime. That's number 2. Sugar Bowl, number 4, Alabama beat Clemson, number 1, Clemson 24-6. Not close. I'm sorry, it's not close. Alabama ended up winning the national championship that year in overtime against Georgia. 2019, Clemson 30, Notre Dame 3. Alabama 45, Oklahoma 34. By the way, that game was 45-20 into the fourth quarter where Kyler Murray scored 2 cheap touchdowns. So not close. 2020 playoffs. LSU 63, Oklahoma 28.
Close.
Clemson 29, Ohio State 23. That's number 3. That was close. Here's where Acho, whatever his name is, close game. 21 playoffs. Alabama 31, Notre Dame 14. Not close. Ohio State 49, Clemson 28. Not close. Last year, Alabama 27, Cincinnati 6. Alabama could have won that game 40-something to nothing. I'm sorry. I know that hurts you, but Alabama took their foot off the brake.
Next.
Last year, Michigan get that late touchdown. Georgia 34, Michigan 11. How many games is that? How many close games is that?
15 games. 3
15?
games. Right, 16. Yeah. 16.
The Columbus City School math.
And then 3 were close.
What's the percentage on that?
Like low?
0.18. 18% of the games have been close in the college football playoffs. Why should we expand? Tell me why.
Here's why. You ready? 18%. 1 versus 8. 18%.
No, I think I do if they do expand. Greg
6.
Sankey came out and said today that, or the past week or whatever, that teams, college football teams, we want to expand the playoffs, but we can't guarantee that a conference champion should be having automatic bid to the playoffs. Why? They ran the gauntlet of the conference and they won the title. I think if they expand, my opinion, 8 teams. I told AP this earlier. 8 teams, 6 automatic qualifiers, 2 wild cards. But then again, who are the Power 5 conferences now that USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten?
As I said back in week 1, your 20-team conferences gets your valid argument for an 8-team playoff.
4 teams. You do 4 20-team conferences. Each winner of that conference is a playoff team.
So we're not adding in the group of 5 in.
Well, most of those group of 5 conference teams are going to have to join those conferences.
Come on, you don't want to see Alabama versus Kent State. Not week 2, not week 13, but college football playoff.
No. All right, Joseph. It's been a pleasure as always. Hopefully AP gets with his family, thoughts and prayers with his family. Logan, I hope you're feeling well. It's been a blessing. It's always a blessing to do these shows with my boys. We got some big plans coming up next week. After I scroll through all these text messages from the guys today, because I was at work while they were doing it. Next week, August 10th, Big 10 Pac-12 preview. We're going to also throw Notre Dame, and then August 17th will be Big 12. I said Big 12 ACC, but it's Big 12 SEC. August 17th will be Big 12 SEC. And we'll talk about BYU on August 12th also. And then August 24th, New Year's 6, college football predictions and week 0 preview. 3 more weeks, boys.
We got a bunch of stuff to dig deep into. What you say about extending the show more than a half hour?
We might have to once we get all 4 of us back in here, because this show went smoothly today with both of us, went fast because we didn't have 2 other people to feed off of each other, which can't wait to get those guys back. Those are our boys. So next week, tune in or click once we upload the video, click like and subscribe, please, on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Next week, Big 12, Pac-12 preview and Notre Dame. Again, I'm Big Cass, and this is Joseph. We hope you guys have a fun, fantastic weekend. Stay safe, everybody.
It's coming, guys.